One of these three people,
Uh-huh.
Leonardo da Vinci,
Mm.
Edgar Allan Poe, or Jim Morrison, who would it be? I am visiting today with my friend Chuck DeBroder from El Paso, Texas. And Chuck is a meteorologist, he's a hypnotist, he's a mentor, and he is also an actor. And I'm excited to have Chuck DeBroder here with me on Lord Toph Talks. How are you, Chuck?
Hey, I am awesome. I'm excellent here in El Paso, Texas. How's everything on the East Coast there? Weather-wise?
Very good.
Okay?
It's my kind of day. Very gray and kind of looming gloomy outside, but it puts me in a good mood just to have a nice calm overcast. Yeah.
It really does. And, as an artist, and I know, really a great background makes colors pop.
Absolutely.
Especially some of the pastels and some of the colors that fade away in the sun. So it makes, I think, for a more colorful day.
Wonderful. It's so good to hear you say that. And speaking of weather, can you I don't care where you kind of began, but can you tell me about your passion and what got you impassioned about talking about the weather?
Well, I grew up in Denver, Colorado. I was actually born on a winter storm day. My mom and dad had a tough time getting to Porter Memorial Hospital, and they delivered me. After they delivered me, they stopped delivering babies for years. I don't know if there was a correlation there or what, but
you broke the mold.
Anyway,
you broke the mold.
Yeah, I broke the mold. And so that was January 17th. It was a Colorado snowstorm. So maybe that made an impression on my brand new mind. But my mom loves weather, and she watches every weathercast on every newscast every day.
Yeah.
And now that she's retired, she mixes in the Lifetime channel with news and weather, and she loves weather.
Yeah.
So, I went to the University of Southern Colorado, my first degree in broadcasting and public relations. And I loved broadcasting. I got into radio my freshman year, but even way back when, it paid minimum wage. And I said, gee, I didn't go to college to pay money to get a minimum wage job.
Right.
So I went into PR. I did corporate public relations for Adolph Coors Company for a while, and I was stuck in a cubicle. And as you can tell already, I'm a talking animal like you. That's why we get along. It's because we love to talk, and we love to be creative. So, and even before college, in grade school, I was picked to be the main part in HMS Pinafore, the operetta. My music teacher in my grade school was very advanced and wanted the kids to be advanced. And he knew I was intelligent and I could sing. The other parents got angry, but I was the captain of the boat and I did great. And that kind of gave me the acting bug, I guess.
Yeah.
And I sang from when I was young. My uncle, Van Cliburn, a famous international pianist, used to travel the world. And when he traveled to Denver, he would stay at my uncle's house. My uncle was a professional voice and piano teacher. Right. And so I grew up with that kind of music in the background. And I love being creative and artistic. And that part of my mind, like your part of the mind, goes in different ways. And we have talked before on the phone about certain programs that want to pigeonhole you into one thing.
Sure.
Yeah. of course, you need to, when you're focusing on one thing, you focus on one thing.
Right.
But I'm a meteorologist. I went to my first degree. I did PR. I didn't really want to say what if, so I got a second degree in meteorology from Metropolitan State University in downtown Denver. And it was much more difficult than a communications degree where you can study the night before and get at least a C. You know, in science, you study 2.5 weeks before and you might pass. But I went through calculus 3, physics 3, statistics.
Wow.
I think I drove a few math tutors. I think they're still in the state mental hospital in Denver because of me. But I made it through, got my first, I worked at Chili's for my second degree.
Okay.
And then I got a maybe in Lubbock, Texas. And I had gone and tried at 27 TV stations and I never gave up.
Wow,
so,
very good.
I was told, hey, I made tapes at my internships at ABC, NBC, and CBS in Pueblo, Colorado Springs market. I interned with all the meteorologists. And news directors are like, Chuck, this is great. Where are you working now? And I'm like, I give the best forecast in the world out of my living room in Pueblo, Colorado. And they're like, well, we need somebody with experience. I'm like, well, how do I get experience? And why did you tell me no? And then I wrote down the reasons and I worked on those reasons, right? So I was very motivated. And
all this time you were still passionate about being a meteorologist, right?
Yeah, people told me, oh, you don't have the right look. You sound too much like you're on the radio. I'm like, well, people watch and they listen to TV.
Sure.
So I just didn't listen to them, right? I just kept going and moved to Lubbock. The news director said, oh, it's my last day. I'm going to be a PR person for the school district. Good luck. And I had moved there, but luckily I had worked for Chili's, so I got a job at Chili's. And then once they hired me to fill in at the same station, to do weekend weather and fill in for vacations for during the week, they paid me $8 an hour.
Wow.
And so I said, well,
wait, when was this?
This was years ago. We're talking, as my wife says, in the dinosaur age. No, it was way back in 1994.
Okay.
Can you believe it? And I graduated from 2 degrees and I graduated quickly. I was motivated. I went through the 2 degrees quicker than normal. And I tell everybody I started TV when I was 10. I was a child prodigy. That's the rumor in the story we're gonna.
Okay.
But you know what? You got to go after what you want, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
So I worked at Chili's. They paid me minimum wage. In Texas, $8 was lower than the nationwide minimum wage. Texas is always the lowest. It's a pro-business state. And,
so do you like it? Do you like it there? Because you've been there for a good while now, yeah?
Yeah, we're as far west in Texas as you can go. We're mountain time zone. We would be better off, El Paso would be, as part of New Mexico than we would Texas. But we're not like the rest of the state, which is kind of a good thing. And there's a mountain dividing our city in half, right down. It's like the end of the Rocky Mountains. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. It's a desert, so I'm not shoveling snow or freezing.
Do you miss the snow?
What?
Do you miss the snow?
I do a little bit. I mean, it was nice. We got the earliest snow ever in my 25 years of being here this past October. That was the earliest I'd ever seen it. And that's when I ran my immune system down and got a little sick. But
Oh,
anyway,
wow.
yeah, because I did a live streaming on the power of the mind for my backyard, and I love the snow. I miss the snow. I used to snow.
So do I. I keep watching the forecast because Christmas Day, at least last week, it was a mixture of rain and snow, and I keep refreshing every day, refreshing the feed so I can see, and now it's like rain and partly cloudy, but I'm still hoping there'll be some snow because I really love snow.
Yeah, there's a cold front headed your way.
Oh, tell me, talk to me, tell me.
Yes, it's blowing in here Wednesday afternoon. It's coming from the west for us, but there's a cold front for you coming out of Canada over the Great Lakes, and it looks like it'll affect you by the weekend. So end of the weekend. So I just kind of saw that earlier when I was forecasting, because I still do the weather stuff.
Very nice.
Here locally. I have a weather digital marketing company.
Oh, nice.
Where Poe Toyota, can I throw out a sponsor here?
Okay.
Has sponsored our 7-day forecast for 2 years. OMP law firm, and I'm going to have a restoration firm, I think, later on this afternoon confirmed. But I do that. Then I have been a meteorologist for, 27 years.
Nice.
I've been a hypnotist for 16 years. And a
now,
complete
wait, before you go into that, because I really want to talk with you about that, Chuck, but I got to ask you something. I actually stumbled across one of your videos. I'm not really sure what it was online, but I found it interesting, and I thought, wow, I don't really know what's going on. I've seen it in the news, but what is this? And I'm not saying it to challenge you or sounding like a skeptic, but what's going on with these monoliths? Can you talk to me about that? Can you tell me about this? What's this anomaly that's happening?
Well, they found one out in the Utah desert. Okay. And I posted a picture of this gentleman out of Colorado, 2 guys that took a road trip to go see the monolith. And then the workers, one of the guys actually helped the workers take it down. But one of the guys stood on top with his little headlamp and looked up and made a really cool picture that I posted on my private page on Facebook. But you can look it up. And these monoliths, the one locally in El Paso was made by a local artist and put up in our downtown.
Okay.
The original one, I don't know if someone just put it there, maybe a leftover movie prop. There's all kinds of speculation. But it is a nice little mental distraction, isn't it? From what all the stuff is going on. And you as an artist, in the Stanley Kubrick movie, 2001,
2001.
A Space Odyssey.
Right.
There was a black onyx monolith that popped up, and it was insinuated that it was an alien communication life form, I think, that helped train the chimps. Yeah, there you go. First, it taught the chimps that this bone could be a weapon or a tool. It taught apes, actually, but that it taught them how to use their intelligence to use things around them as a tool for good or bad. And I did a little post online as I'm hitting my table here. I did a little post online about the monolith of our mind. What is your monolith? And is it good or bad? Are you using your subconscious mind or your monolith as something good or bad? So I kind of did a little post on my page about the monolith, and I related it to our subconscious mind. And does the monolith represent the good, the positive in your mind, or is it teaching you to go down a destructive path and use your mind for self-sabotage? And I kind of wanted to go into that a little bit more, but I started to write a novel on Facebook, and the attention span's kind of short.
Yeah.
But what I think is, I think somebody put it out there. It was made of metal, which is kind of interesting. It might have been a government marker, a marker for somebody else. Who knows? But it was kind of a cool thing to distract us. And then they started popping up in other parts of the world. And then, you had farmers putting up sheet metal up on their fence saying, "Oh, look, I have a monolith in my farm," And so, yeah, I just kind of think that, everything is how we represent it up here. And whether someone tells you no in your life, you can use that as something to give up, or you can use it as a motivator, right?
Right.
So in my meteorology career, I used it as a motivator.
Very
and then
good.
when I was working both Chili's, and I go up to people's tables, and I was on Weekend Weather on NBC in Lubbock, Texas, and I'm like, "Hey, how about a top shelf margarita or an IBC root beer?" And they're like, "Chuck, man, I watch you every night, but what are you doing here?" I'm like, "How do you like your fajitas?"
Wow, yeah,
I got to
yeah,
pay
yeah.
2 college degrees, got to pay my rent. And so then I got called by El Paso and NBC, and they said, "How would you like 2.5 times what you're making at both jobs to work weather here?" Now, they didn't tell me they only had one weather person. So I had to do weekends. I had to record Sunday night for
Wow.
Monday morning weather, which you can get away with in the desert. And then I would get Monday and Tuesday off, because the main weather guy would record Tuesday night for Wednesday, or Monday night for Tuesday morning.
Okay.
But then I would have to do morning weather live Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And they were a little cheap. And
Sure.
so they didn't want to hire. And now TV's gotten super cheap because everybody's right here.
Absolutely.
Everybody's online, social media, YouTube,
Right.
Netflix. They're on
Right.
Zoom.
And
They're
speaking of
not.
right here, Chuck, if you had your own show,
Mhm.
if you had your, or let's go a step more cinematic. If you could do your own movie, feature
Mhm.
film, tell me what it would be about. What would be the topic? Or you can tell me what the plot would be.
The plot of a feature film, I would somehow get the attention of people right away. Have you ever watched a movie and you're like, "Come on already, come on, get to the,"
Absolutely.
because
Absolutely.
we're used to action, and you and I are artists, so we give movies a little bit more of a chance than maybe the normal person, because we're looking for the deeper meaning in a movie.
Absolutely.
I would make a movie that would get people's attention, but then would have a positive message on how they could improve their life. So the
drama,
it would
romance, science fiction, or
I think,
fantasy.
Wow. I think fantasy. We live 86% of our life in our fantasy world, our subconscious. And look at how successful Lord of the Rings was. So if you could base it on something fantastical, fantasy-wise, like Lord of the Rings, where it's a world not based like Star Wars or Star Trek, maybe in the future, but on Earth in a different time, maybe a different part of Earth, but had some sort of message. And I think Lord J.R. Tolkien had a message. I think it was pretty deep.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
And it took a while, many books and many movies to make.
And many years.
And many years.
Right.
I think I would get to the point a little quicker. Maybe some sort of fantasy. Yeah, I think so. Or I love the super spy, CIA adventure type movies as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Did you ever see Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy? Is it?
Oh yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
Thought you would. Yeah.
And
what
it was
think,
deep.
What do you think about Gary Oldman's performance in that?
Well, number one, I love Gary Oldman and his acting abilities.
Bravo.
He is one of the best.
Yeah.
In the vampire movie, where he played the vampire with.
Oh, absolutely, Dracula.
Yeah,
he was. He was
phenomenal.
He was incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I could name all kinds of parts. Even in the Batman movies, he puts his own flair to it.
Oh, and it's Fifth Element. He was an excellent villain in Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, Fifth Element.
He's so diverse, even as Beethoven in Immortal Beloved. Wonderful.
Yeah, you wanted to see more of him in Fifth Element. It was one of those villain characters where he was evilly appealing.
I like that.
Not to your evil side, but just the way you played it.
Now, before we go into hypnosis, because I want to talk with you about that, I've got one more movie. You made me think of a movie with you being in Texas, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, I get to talk. I don't want to say interview because I like just saying talk, and I feel weird saying interview. But I was thinking I get to talk with Chuck today, and then I started thinking about this movie. I was like, oh, Chuck's in El Paso. And I was like, was it shot in El Paso or was it? And I was like, no, it wasn't. It was shot in San Antonio, and it's shot with, and as you said, we artists kind of give movies a bit of a chance, more of a chance. Oh. Well, this happens to be one of my favorite films. It's Still Breathing, and it's got Brendan Fraser and Joanna Going. I think it's a early 90s movie, maybe.
Yeah, and I might have seen it, but I'm not. It doesn't come to mind.
It's such a peaceful, romantic movie. I love it. Yeah. Well,
Brendan Fraser doesn't get enough credit either because he was in some fun movies.
That's true.
And whatever, but I think he's an excellent actor.
Yeah.
He plays a villain psychiatrist in a movie where, he has gained a little bit of weight, and we all get a little bit older. He's now losing the weight, but he was up the road in Las Cruces, New Mexico. But I really think he is a very good actor, and I loved him in The Mummy, and I loved him in fun movies too, adventure movies.
Now, if you could hypnotize Brendan Fraser,
okay,
and you would already been given permission to ask him anything during this trance state, if you will. I'm not sure if that's the terminology, but during his being under hypnosis, what is it you would want to ask him?
Where do you go in your mind to switch from being Brendan Fraser to really being one with the character you're playing? I mean, is it physiological at first to get into the state, which I really think excellent actors use physiology, because I remember from way back in the day, this brand new motivational speaker, Anthony Robbins, was on Nightingale Connect, and I bought a tape set when I was in high school, I think.
Wow.
And it was unlimited power. And he tells a story about people coming into his office with their shoulders drooped, their head down, saying, "Oh, Anthony, I don't know why I'm so depressed."
Wow.
He's like, "Well, sit like you're happy, breathe like you're happy, and your physiology will fire off the same synapses in your brain to make you happy."
Wow.
And it seems so simple, but we make it so difficult. And do you know what? We do it to the point as a society. The number one most successful business in the world is pharmaceuticals, but we do it because we want to pop a pill. But you know what happens to somebody who thinks the pill is making them function for the day, making them pain-free or whatever? All of a sudden, they go from a physiology of pain to one of, oh, hey, no pain. Hey, I'm feeling great.
Right.
And pharmaceuticals know it. It's a placebo effect. It's all with our mind. So I would love to ask Brendan Fraser, hey, where do you go in your mind to get into the physiology, to get into the character you're playing on the screen?
Wow.
Now, I'm in a movie coming out here, I believe this week, online, called Immortal Wars Rebirth. You know, with this COVID, movies have been delayed so much.
Sure.
But I play a reporter, and actually it was my first time ever being listed in credits. And on the trailer that I saw, I'll send it to you. At the end, it says all the actors' names, and it says, "and Chuck DeBroder." I'm like, yay. But anyway.
Very nice. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Joe Lujan is a comic book writer. He's a director, a producer, and he made Immortal Wars. One was with Eric Roberts, Julia Roberts' brother, and he always played a lot of villains in the 90s.
Oh, wow.
And early 2000s.
Yeah,
and
he was also in a movie, something about the light, where he where he gets struck by lightning, and he develops like a very, very keen sixth sense, so to say. Yeah, it was a great movie with Eric Roberts too.
Tom Sizemore and him were in the Immortal Wars first one. My voice was in Immortal Wars Redemption, and then this is Rebirth. This is the prequel about a psychic superhero little girl. But I play a reporter. I was years on TV as a meteorologist, so it's not a far stretch there.
Yeah.
But that's kind of cool. And I was in a little comedy short called Plasma Sword, about a guy who's brilliant, who developed the external hard drive for computers.
Yeah.
And he is obsessed with Clash of the Stars.
Nice. Now, has this already been released?
Yeah, a couple years back, and you can look for it on Vimeo. It's called Plasma Sword.
Okay.
And I got a big part. I played the uncle. I was about 38 pounds heavier. And
well, I'll make sure that the links in the description.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, but absolutely.
And, it was very cool. It was shot in El Paso, and it's about this brilliant guy who basically ends up homeless because he's put all his money, all my money, into developing a lightsaber, which you can't say because of George Lucas and Disney.
That's right,
and he was obsessed with Star Wars, which is called Clash of the Stars. So we don't have any. Anyway, but
that's cool.
So that's my acting side of it. But the hypnotizing, I think it has to do with great actors like Gary Oldman and others that you see, Anthony Hopkins.
Oh yeah.
He gets so, he says when he gets a script, he reads it 100 times nonstop.
Wow.
Over and over.
Wow. Man, that's intense.
Then he embeds everybody's dialogue into his mind. So then he doesn't have to concern himself with the words.
Or memorizing lines. Right.
Yeah, he can think about reactions and physiology and about the scene. So that's kind of cool. you know,
Wow. Absolutely.
and discipline in your life. That's something that I have gotten back into my life thanks to my wife. She does more work in 2 hours than most 20 people do in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And she's my web producer, my videographer. She's a professional chef, a pastry chef, a profiler. She's got a master's in semiology, the power of symbols,
Very
and
nice.
linguistics, and just a brilliant person.
Wow.
And she keeps me on task as much as in a relationship. Men like to think they're in charge.
Right.
Women just make us think they're the ones that. Anyway.
Well, now
So-
I've got one final question that I would like to ask in relation to your hypnosis and being now a master hypnotist. So if you had a choice, and you know on Lord Toph Talks here, I like to talk about art, music, and literature. So
Yes.
what I want to ask you is, if you had a choice to hypnotize one of these three people,
Uh-huh.
Leonardo da Vinci, Edgar Allan Poe, or Jim Morrison, who would it be, and how would it be? How would it begin? You don't have to tell me how it play out, because that might be a little too long for now. But how would it begin? Which one would it be?
Wow. They are all massively, naturally talented artists in their own right, and in different ways. But I think artists like those three see the world in a similar way, if that makes sense. The world comes to them. Jim Morrison didn't like the world he saw, maybe, so he wanted to alter it chemically. But then I think he first got into the chemicals to be more creative. Edgar Allan Poe had a darkness about him. And Leonardo da Vinci, I think, was from a different planet. I think.
Very good perception and comment about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he was so much more advanced.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Than his time. I think I would love to hypnotize him out of all three, just to figure out where he was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And spiritually, I think he was much bigger. I think he tapped into what some people call the universal consciousness.
Yes.
Napoleon Hill of Think and Grow Rich fame, he talks about getting a mastermind of all the great masters and picturing Leonardo da Vinci, Edgar Allan Poe, and Jim Morrison in a room, and going around the room and asking them a question about what you're doing in life. Isn't that a cool thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I would do that hypnotically, and I would say, Leonardo, where are you getting these visions? Are they spiritual in your mind? Are they
Metaphysical?
based on metaphysical? Or are they based on a combination of things you see in church and in the countryside and everything? But I really think he was a professor of people.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, as a painter yourself.
And an architect beyond creating structures. An architect of the mind, an architect of thought, an architect of inspiration even.
Yeah.
Very much.
He in his art, put personality into the people he was painting. And it was the personality of the time, because you can see the compassion the love in some of his paintings in the people.
Right.
And, again, I believe in quantum physics. We all vibrate at a certain rate.
Right.
But I think great art vibrates to the people who are watching that painting, right?
Yes.
And a painter from another planet, and the only reason I'm using that metaphorically is the fact that they are so well connected to their painting, they can connect their audience to what they were thinking, right?
Absolutely.
Or
right.
that they can connect to that feeling. And I'm just amazed how musicians, how painters, how orators, speakers, there are just certain ones that are way above everybody else.
Right.
Now that comes through practice. How many times, I wonder where Leonardo's practice paintings are.
Right.
Did he have to practice? I don't think so. I think he was that naturally talented.
I think a lot of it also comes from awakening an inner spirit. It has to do with being also, and I don't want to get too deep in that, but it also has to do with being in tune and balance with that your pranic energy. So, yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying.
All right.
Well, is there anything you want to leave us with for the day? It's it's the 21st. We've got 4 days before Christmas. Is there any food for thought, Chuck DeBroder? Weatherman, meteorologist, master hypnotist, actor, and good friend. Is there anything you want to leave us with food for thought?
Well, first off, represent all this challenge of 2020 as a transformation for yourself. We've had to completely change our life, but look for the good things and write them down about this. I've lost 27 pounds by working on how I represent food in my mind, self-hypnosis. Wow. I coach people. I have binaural beat self-hypnosis recordings, but I coach people on how to change their initial reaction and mental emotion towards things, and how to completely, instantly take a positive and crush the negative and only focus on the positive. And so that's what I did in my own life. I had to do it a few times. We all go through self-sabotage.
Right.
I think we have to turn to external things and vices to get us through the world. You don't need that.
Correct.
It is so much better to have a conversation with Lord Toph, mentally focused, healthy. And I know you and I we shall be working together on projects here in the future. So
Absolutely.
I want everyone to realize, watch out for Lord Toph projects that may include a little bit of Chuck DeBroder.
Oh yeah,
in there as well.
Starfield Stories narration is waiting for you. Yeah, the children's stories are waiting for you. They need your voice. Radio, television, just all around warm voice. They need it. Yeah, and I want to say, I'm going to make sure. But right now, can you say where you can be found? Because you've said a lot of wonderful things. So just
message me. We're mainly focusing on lightning hypnosis on Facebook. We have it on Instagram, Twitter. It's LIGHT, lightning. So it's LIGHTNIG, hypnosis, all one word, HYPNSOS, right? Hypnosis. No, excuse me.
HYPNO. Yeah,
PNOSIS. There we go. I had to mentally spell that. At gmail.com, you can message me there. You can message me on Lightning Hypnosis on Facebook or Instagram. I will answer instantly there. That's probably the quickest way. I do Zoom counseling. I add hypnosis training modules to coaches of all types to their programs to give them instant change for their clients, give them some instant value to their clients. So I do that. But I just love to help people lose weight, become non-smokers, traditional hypnosis, and really realize, as Bob Proctor put it simply, worry and doubt in our conscious mind is then suppressed in our body, which becomes depression, which then becomes disease and decay. And the opposite of that is knowledge. So find something you enjoy to do, get knowledge, take action, and steady, but not the steady like schools have taught us in the way of studying is boring and bad. If you study something you enjoy, you get excited about it and you learn more. Think back to the schools where you had the best teachers and the best professors. They were the most exciting and they were the most excited about this subject, and their excitement was contagious. So go out and get knowledge, and do not let fear, false evidence against reality, the acronym, one of many, but do not let worry and doubt creep into your life. Fight that by gaining knowledge on something you enjoy. And that's what I help my clients to do. So go to Lightning Hypnosis on all our formats and message me there. Or I also have the Weather Geek side at Chuck DeBroder, all over chuckdebroder.com and Facebook, and you can find out about weather. And I always put a little motivation into my weather lives as well.
Well, Chuck, it's been wonderful. I've enjoyed talking with you, my friend, and I'm sure we're going to talk again, and even off camera and off audio. We will talk and we'll catch up, and we're certainly going to collaborate on many creative things, my friend.
Hey, thank you, Lord Toph. You have a most awesome, healthy, positive, successful rest of 2020. Everyone and all your audience, and into a brand new year, 2021.
Excellent, my friend. Thank you so much. Happy Christmas, season's greetings to you, and I look forward to speaking with you soon.
We'll talk to you soon, Lord Toph. Thank you.
Okay, take care.